Yes, guys, welcome back to the Once You're In podcast. I'm coming at you with a short clip, a short episode. Today it's going to be a federation tier list. I've got my phone here. We're going to go through the different bodybuilding federations, primarily UK.
Yeah.
And we've got 5 different tiers. So we've got God tier, which would obviously be the best feds.
Yeah.
We've got very decent. We've got worth doing or worth going to watch.
Yes.
Give it a miss and avoid at all costs. So, go on, give the disclaimer.
We're going to do a disclaimer.
We don't want to offend any
Yeah,
kids.
we don't. If, let's say, I doubt anybody's going to be listening.
Lee, all right, we know you're watching, Lee.
Yeah, Lee from UKDFBA, we're going to put you in God tier. No, we're going to just have our opinions regarding everyone. This is just our opinions. If you are a loyal competitor at any of these, feel free, carry on.
Tell us why we're wrong.
Yeah, we might potentially be wrong. You don't know. So this is anything personal to the feds. This is just our experience with what shows we've been to, where we get clients and stuff like that. So I've got a list. I think maybe 13, 14.
Just ones that we thought of.
Yeah. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to select a few at random.
Just go through and...
because we've gone through the ones we know. So we can't just go through them. I'll go through... Okay, so first one. We have UKUP. UK Ultimate Physiques.
Yeah.
Where are you placing this? I think this has actually caught a bit more respect.
I would probably
2
put
years
that
ago,
in...
this was horrendous in my opinion.
I'd probably put it in worth doing. So mid. 3 out of 5.
Yeah. But would you have it as worth doing? If someone was to say, hey mate, I want a UK Ultimate Physique show, would you even
I wouldn't think of it as a big deal, but if, let's say, a client was to say, I'd like to do a show near me,
yeah,
what is there? I wouldn't be like, don't do that.
No.
I'd be like, yeah, cool.
What was the fourth
we could do that.
What was the fourth one?
Give it a miss.
Yeah. I wouldn't be like, if you're doing a whole show season, I wouldn't be like, you've got to do this show.
No.
But I wouldn't be against, I would be like, yeah mate, if it makes sense,
Worth doing then?
Yeah, worth doing. I think worth doing.
I'll put it in worth doing.
We'll have with that Pure Elite. I think Pure Elite...
Avoid it all.
I think a Pure Elite kind of go... It's similar to UK Ultimate Physiques, isn't it? Or is it Pure Elite the one... I think it's the Miami Pro one where it's like...
Pure Elite is I'm sure it's the one where it's Miami Pro and everybody's a pro.
Yeah, everyone's a pro. I think you get a pro if you finish dead last. No one's in condition. It's a very weird
Are we
setup.
saying give it a miss or avoid at all costs?
Avoid at all costs, I'd probably say. If someone was saying, hey, I want to do a Pure Elite
The thing
show,
is,
I'd be like,
it
no,
might even
go.
be alright, but it's the one that everyone takes the piss out of.
Yeah, so we're joining and taking the piss out of it. Okay, we have NABA. Used to be pretty good.
Yeah, NABA used to be basically what Two Bros is now, isn't it? They used to work underneath the...
From the shows
MPC.
that I've been to, and admittedly I've been to 3, I think, the condition is the condition you'd expect at shows in the early 2000s and 10s. Nobody is in inside out conditioning. It's literally people that look like they've carved up on donuts and fucking D-bowl prior. So it's just who's combo, to be fair, donuts and D-bowl. But it's just who's the biggest and fullest. There's no actual condition sort of scale, it's just who's the biggest bodybuilder. I don't really think there's too much. They don't really care about the flow, the shape.
I feel like it might be similar to what we were saying on earlier about how times change and things progress, and it probably hasn't really progressed.
No, and it's very how it was run. The way that the one that I went to, they walked you out to you came through an oval where you stepped up on some steps and you have to hit a pose and then you walk down some steps. Yeah, and it was just I was looking at it going, this is just so so mid. This isn't.
Is it mid? Do you want it in mid?
I'd say
worth
mid.
doing,
yeah,
or give it a miss.
No, I think it's all right. I don't think it's a bad fed. I'd probably have it as worth doing.
Worth doing.
Yeah, I feel like the one that says worth doing should be worth doing / mid. It should be very much it's not something that we'd say we need to do, but it's what do you fancy?
Yeah.
Does it
it's
work
alright.
out?
It's worth doing if you fancy it.
Yeah. Right. Next one. UKDFBA.
God tier.
God tier straight away. Lee, please give me a win.
God
finally.
tier. Someone send it to Lee now. It's God tier.
Sam, make a quick reel.
Sam, will you just make a quick reel, please? UKDFBA is God tier.
Do you actually think it's God tier? I don't. I think it's second.
I'd say very decent.
Yeah, I'd say very decent. I think it could be ran a bit more efficiently. I think it could be a bit more modernised.
Yeah, it could
I think
definitely
the
be more
lighting
modern.
Could be better.
I think the lighting's pretty good at the finals. At the Athena, very good.
Yeah.
And they do run it on a tight ship. They're pretty good with their timings and their schedule and stuff. They're pretty efficient with all the admin side of things.
Yeah.
I think the judging is generally very good. Like
Yeah.
it's rare that I'll be like that's completely off.
Yeah.
But it can be more. It definitely can be more modernised.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think it's one of those where like it could easily be God tier, like, and it could be like it already is pretty much that and WNBF, but it's good for natural bodybuilding.
Yeah.
But they are working within a natural realm of bodybuilding, which they're not going to have loads of funds. There's only 3 shows for next year, stuff like that. So there's for what they're working with, I think it's really good. But I wouldn't have it as like God tier.
Nah, very decent.
Yeah. Next one, NFM.
Worth doing.
Really, I'd have it.
I'd have it at the high end of worth
Yeah, I'd have
doing.
it high end or low tier of like
Of very good.
Yeah, very good. Like NFM, very similar to FitX. I think it's probably a less efficient FitX. Like it's not as good. They're not doing the. I don't think they're doing the GBO Pro anymore. They've scrapped that. I think for the next year, so they're not doing that anymore.
Right.
Which is I'm not too sure. I think they're doing something different. So they're still doing pro titles, but I think they're going on their own sort of separate way.
Yeah.
So they're not linked to the GBO, which is an American. That's why all the finals are in Texas. But to be fair, like NFM, like the lighting of the shows that I've been to, bar one was really good.
To be
It's
fair,
ran
like
well.
they do put a lot into their athletes.
And the judges are really nice. Like I spoke to some of the judges when Connor did a show. They actually called me over and they spoke to me, and they gave me a good breakdown regarding like what like 2 of the judges thought they had Connor, and then they were very actually like real. They weren't like you standing.
Yeah.
He could have been tighter when he couldn't have been, or he couldn't follow when
They're just
he's
being
full.
honest.
They were honest, and they said, well, the guy that won was just bigger, and that's what they preferred. Like, where the last thing you want to be hearing is just your generic feedback. Like, for example, with my one with the 2 bros, that was like for the feedback, I was like, dude, just shut up.
I don't need it.
Yeah, you like just
already
bullshit.
know, or you know what it is anyway. Like
Yeah.
you don't need that confirmation of you got beat because he was better than you.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's silly.
So yeah, we'll put him in very decent.
Well,
NFM, like
Well, you're above, yeah.
lower end of
Lower end of very decent. I think the mid tier would be a bit harsh on NFM. Next one we have NAC.
I'd not heard of him.
This
I
was
know
a-
Danny Howarth done it, so I avoid it all costs.
Avoid at all costs. This was a Google search that I searched and found it and was like, yep, cool. NAC.
Let's put it in, give it a miss. 'Cause it's not as bad as Pure Elite Pro.
No.
Even though
Give
we've
it a
never
miss.
heard of it
Yeah,
before.
even though we never heard of it, give it a miss. Such a good opinion. That. We have 2 bros natural. Give it a miss.
I think it's a weird one because if based on my experience, I would say give it a miss with the shows that I've been to. But based on not on the standard, but on like just how flat it was.
Yeah.
Like, it's like
Do you not think that about like let's do 2 bros as well?
yeah.
2 bros is one of those
Two
where
bros, it's like
unless you are ticking a box to go and compete abroad, or unless it's a pro qualifier, don't do. Like
it's not going to be where you go and like, oh, I love that show day. It
Yeah,
was a
no.
great show day. It was the crowd was great. It was a great venue. Like
Nah.
you're not going to feel like that for 2 bros. Like, but like you say, if you're ticking a box to try and go and get a pro card, it needs to be done.
or to go and compete abroad or whatever. Yeah, but I wouldn't like the judges look at you for like 5 seconds. Like that's literally it. The feedback is a bit of a joke. The way it's ran is if they didn't have the pro card attached to it or the ticking a box to go and get a pro card, no one would do 2 bros. Like it just isn't that good in comparison. I've just ruined my chances ever doing well in a 2 bro show. So yeah, sorry.
No, I do think though, like we said, we're just being honest with
Yeah,
like
it's
our
just-
thoughts. Like if a client says to me, I really want to do a 2 bros
It's
natural
stupidly
show,
expensive as well.
like yeah, I wouldn't be like, no, don't do it. But I'd be
Yeah.
like, okay, but let's do a couple of others as well, because
Yeah.
I don't want that to be your only experience.
Yeah. The only 2 bros show was the Arnold's was good, but that was because of the stage, and that's because it was the Arnold's. Like, but the actual way it was ran, like I did PCA first timers the week before, and that was like when I was backstage, it was like the people that were like calling you up, they were sound. I see them now at shows, and they still speak to me. Like they're sound. They're guys that actually care and they want to help you out. Where at 2 bros, it was like if I didn't have Rob there, who was like telling me and like he was like looking back and saying, all right, glaze up. Like
Yeah.
it would be they call you out once if you don't listen. Or you say, for example, you get your headphones in, they don't care. They put people on.
Yeah.
They told me to line up, and I didn't go on for like 45 minutes. And obviously, 45 minutes before I was on.
You're doing-
And
you're
then
doing
I
one.
stood up and just lost my pump. So
Yeah.
it's one of them. Like, don't do 2 bros unless you're trying to tick a box. That said.
So we're putting it in, give it a miss for both.
Yeah, give it a miss. I'd say. Like, however, that has a caveat to brackets.
Yeah.
Do it if needing to tick a box, but don't go there thinking this is going to be the best show day of my life. You know.
Yeah. if you're looking at just as an experience of that given day,
Yeah.
like then I would say like you don't need to be thinking that I definitely need to do 2 bros.
Yeah. UKBFF.
I don't know enough about that one.
It used to be natural, but it was never. Like
Yeah.
UKBFF was the original. No, UKBFF was I think the one for the pro. That was not a pro card. You won a pro title, where they only gave it out to like.
I'm pretty sure it was UKBFF like Mr. Universe.
Yeah, something like that. Well, I think you could win a pro title with them, but they basically said like, you cannot take steroids, but all you had to do was just write your name down.
Yeah.
So it's like I am
A bit
natural.
like 2 bros natural.
Yeah, pretty much. However, JT doesn't grab you by the shoulders and say, "Are you natural?" That's their test.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a bit strange. So yeah, where are we having UKBFF?
I'd probably put it in, give it a miss. I don't know enough about it.
Give it a miss. I'd have that. Right, very prestigious one. Mr. Gay Britain.
Mr. Gay,
Yes,
Mr. Gay, Great Britain. Mr. Gay. You've been so excited to say that you said it wrong.
Mr. Gay Great Britain. So you could be Mr. Gay Britain. You could be like the gayest man in Great Britain.
But it's God tier.
Yeah, God. Fucking hell. So for anyone that doesn't know. Everyone should know Mr. Gay Great Britain.
Yeah,
what me and Finn have been prepping for.
There is actually a federation.
It's basically a show that. Did we see it? Did we see somebody who won it?
There was a guy that won it who was like, in bodybuilding terms, he was fat.
Yeah.
But he was like really good at posing, and like he even like
he was a posing coach.
Yeah, he's a posing coach.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically we thought it was not like a joke, but we thought it wasn't like an actual bodybuilding federation, but
Yeah.
I think it is.
And then like I think Finn or like one of us found it, sent it to like, or we were training.
One of us went into it.
Yeah,
entered it.
yeah, he beat us.
Yeah.
And trust me, like to be fair, we might have lost, but like we won either way.
Just being there.
Yeah, and the guy that we followed or saw ended up winning the title, and it's like you get judged on how like gay your eye walk is, how gay you look, like, and basically he won the Mr. Gay Great Britain title. So therefore, what is it got to? No, I think if you're gay and you don't want to get in condition, well, you don't have to even be gay. You might not even be gay.
Nah, I think you got to be gay.
You got to be gay.
You got to prove you're gay, and they shake you on the shoulders and go, "Are you gay?
Are you
gay? Yeah,
yeah." But you're also on your knees. You've got something in your mouth. Are you gay?
You got to prove that you're gay.
You got to prove you're gay. So yeah, that's the comedy one. There probably are a few. I say comedy. It's not. Shouldn't say it's a comedy.
Right.
Nothing wrong being gay, but there are probably
Deadly
a few
serious.
things that are like. There probably are a few like bodybuilding or like beauty pageant shows where it's like
Bodybuilding is a bit like that,
yeah,
isn't it?
there probably are a few that are a bit different.
In all seriousness, for Mr. Gay Great Britain, I'd probably say if you're wanting to actually be a bodybuilder,
Yeah,
I'd probably say avoid.
However, if you are gay,
And if you want to enter a gay contest to
see how gay you
see
are.
how gay you can be on a stage, do it.
Yeah. So
Well, the thing is, like,
how do you do? You can't even rank that.
well,
Should put
you
this.
get cancelled for saying this kind of stuff, but we're not.
No, it's nothing about gays. It's just
We're not even like we're taking the piss out of the federation
Yeah.
because it's very strange to
be judged on how gay you walk.
Yeah,
Or how gay your costume
or
is.
why do you need a separate federation for it? Like
Yeah.
there'll be people who compete who are gay. That's fine. No one
Yeah.
gives a fuck. Like
No.
so why do we need a specific? Well, we don't have a Mr. Straight England.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mr.
Like,
Masculine.
it's strange, though, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm masculine, Mr. Universe. Like, it is strange. So yeah, where you put
You
it?
do know that the opposite of gay is not masculine.
Well, yeah, but
It's
No.
heterosexual.
heterosexual. No, but we're talking the other end of the extreme. So I just can't believe how
You just
hetero
can't-
are.
you can't
Yeah,
get
you,
it right, mate.
you can't win nowadays. Right, PCA. Where we having PCA?
I know where you're going to have it.
What? Avoid at all costs.
Nah, you'd probably say it's God tier.
No, I
You
don't.
love PCA.
I like PCA.
PCA is good. It's
I think it's very good. I think it's probably the best. Like that being said, though, there's a lot of they rush the people backstage. Like every show
That's 'cause
I've
they're
been,
busy.
yeah, they're always really busy. They usually oversell their tickets slightly. I think it's very popular, and I feel like when I competed with them the first time, it was a lot different in comparison to like this year. Like, and also at the same time, like the way they were with me regarding the glaze, they knew exactly who I was. They were like, "We're not glazing you." I was like, "I've got my own glaze. Can you put it on me?" No. Like they're just a bit
Yeah.
at times. And like how they are backstage. Like there's some guys at the PCA that are absolutely sound, spot on. The bald dude who literally tells you exactly where to be, wicked. He's got all your names on the list, sound. He's got a mate with like dark hair, sound. But like the tanning women, half of them are bellends. Like there was, I told you, I think I said this on the podcast, where when I was getting my tan done for the universe, they lined us all up, but the line was so big that we went round the corner, and I was ending up just like chatting to a few people, and the girl came round and was like, what are you? And I was like, classic. And she's like, why are you not here? Like, you're supposed to be here, you're late. And I was like, I've literally stood here. And then the people behind me were like, he's literally been here the whole time. And he was like, oh. But she was like trying to give me shit. And it's like the morning of the show, where it's like, you're going to tan me anyway.
Like, stressing out.
And it's just like, some of them are just, that's just a bit strange. So it's like, there's pros and cons. I personally would have it probably God tier, but I don't think they're God tier fed. So I probably wouldn't have it there.
Yeah,
I'd
I feel like we've got to have at least one in God tier.
Yeah. I'd say FitX are better brand than PCA though. So, but I don't think FitX is as popular. So if FitX was as popular, would it be? I think FitX and PCA are pros and cons. I think they both probably should be in God tier for this video, but I don't think there's like they're not perfect. But then no Fed's going to be perfect.
No, and I think if we were to put PCA or FitX in God tier, I'd put UKDFBA in it, and I'd probably put WNBF in it.
Yeah, we haven't done WNBF.
I know. Sorry, spoiler.
Yeah.
Right, should we put PCA in very decent then?
What do you reckon? What would you have?
God tier is the terminology.
Reels. They're good with the reels.
Right, we'll put it in God tier.
It is God tier, but you're lucky, PCA. You're fucking lucky, mate. That's what it is. Please give me a win and not give me fucking like second or a fourth. Thanks. Give me another overall. Right, you mentioned WNBF. WNBF?
I'd put them in very decent as well.
Would you have them higher than UKDFBA? The battle of the natural feds.
It's a tough one. There's things that they do better, and there's things that they do worse.
What do you reckon they do worse?
The shows could be smoother. To be fair, they are very, very good, and they've got a lot better. First couple of years, obviously, they're literally like gonna have teething issues. So I think the first year there was quite a lot of issues with the judging. The second year, was this the second year? I think this was the second year.
Yeah,
it was better, definitely.
Yeah.
But like even at the first timer show that Josh won, like there were still some teething issues there in terms of like the backstage and like the judging. Not that the judging was ever incorrect, but it takes a little bit longer than it maybe needs to take and things like that. But obviously they want to just get the right result. Even like what they did with me, like they could easily have just been like, oh, it doesn't matter, he's not complaining. So but then I'm not just going to put them in God tier for that.
No.
I would put them, but then the thing is, like, I think if we're comparing it, WNBF is probably the most similar to PCA. So if we're looking at, and to be fair, I'm going to put it in God tier because when you look at the reason I'm putting it in God tier is when you look at the standard of the WNBF worlds, in comparison to the INBA, PNBA, the natural universe, natural Olympia, the pinnacle of natural bodybuilding. When you compare the standards there, the WNBF was drastically better. So that's why it's going in God tier.
Good rationale. Not there to argue with it. INBA.
Obviously, I only know from going to the natural Olympia.
And it was shit.
It was shit.
Avoid at all costs. Straight up, avoid at all costs. It was shit. It was everything about it was meh. The judging wasn't great. The location. The only cool thing was it was in Vegas. If that was a show down your street, you'd be like, why the fuck did I spend 50 quid on a ticket and why did I waste a day? Yeah. So avoid at all costs. Okay. However, I'm not going to
disagree.
Caveat.
If you want to be natural Mr. Olympia.
Yeah, it is. Obviously, it's got a decent title. It's a cool experience. But if you take it just from a show value, if that was in, like, let's say,
if it was in Leicester,
you would just be like, that's a shit show. You know? Like, so, yeah. MPA?
Yeah, so that's Natural Physique Association.
Yeah.
From what I've heard, like, it's decent, but I don't know enough about it.
Yeah.
And we put, like, we put UKUP and NABA in worth doing. Does it go in worth doing, or does it go and give it a miss?
I've never heard of MPA.
Okay, we'll go give it a miss then.
Yeah. And then I think this is the last one. We'll confirm
FitX.
After this. Oh, we've not done FitX.
FitX.
Or BNBF. I thought. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. BNBF.
BNBF?
I'll put BNBF in worth doing.
Yeah. What, the mid-tier?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You want to explain why it's not... Do you have BNBF lower than like UKDFBA considerably?
Yeah. No, not considerably. Like in terms
Keithie's gonna hate you.
in terms of the standard
Sorry, Keith.
of the competitors, the judging, everything like that is great. I just think sometimes with how the shows are ran, it can be a little bit hectic, and I'm not a big fan of the day show and the night show. I like it as a competitor, and I like it as a spectator, but I don't like it as a coach. Like it's a bit of a ball ache as a coach. Like the day show and the night show, it's manageable, like it's fine, but yeah, I quite like it knowing they're on stage at this time, and that's
just bring a good look.
Unless they're in the overall, that's the only time they're on stage. And yeah, just with like how the finals was just a little bit rushed and a little bit stressful, and that can happen obviously when it's a different location. The location wasn't great for the finals, so yeah, there's things that could be better, but that's the same with any federation, any show. But yeah, that's just based on sort of and again, I think same with the UKDFBA, they're both quite old fashioned now compared to like the WNBF are a lot more modernised. When you compare them, it's similar to like comparing PCA to, let's say, NABA. You know what I mean? It's like quite different in terms of like how up to date it is with social media and things like that, and their advertising, their marketing. Like, so yeah, like again, nothing against BNBF. They're a good fed. It's not a bad fed at all. I wouldn't ever like don't do BNBF. Like I would say, yeah, for sure, do it. It's a good federation, and the standard is very good.
And
like
it almost
really
made
good.
Finn quit bodybuilding.
Yeah, almost made me quit. No, I was going to be a coach, Anna. Just a coach.
Finn messaged me after getting off for the first bit. I'm not very good at this. I'm going to be a coach instead. And then ended up getting an alright place. And he goes, I'm not that bad.
Yeah, came second to the guy that won the overall. So I was like, I'd have won the overall if he was on it.
Yeah.
I definitely wouldn't have.
So after that,
like I say, there's no like that's not me being like BNBF is bad in any way. It's not. It's a good fed, and every show that I've ever been to for BNBF is like a good show.
I'd say it's high tier with the mid tier. It's high. It's not like low down where it's like just scraped.
Yeah, it's either top of worth doing or low end of the very decent.
Yeah, I'd say that's good.
But it is good.
Yeah. We then have, I think this is now, like I said, the last one, FitX.
I'd put FitX in very decent.
Yeah.
I think if we didn't like Darren.
Yeah, the guy that runs it, like we get on well with.
If we didn't, if it was like we didn't know Darren.
Yeah.
And we didn't know the Fed. Like we just went to a show, we'd be like, this is really good.
Yeah.
But because Darren's proper sound and he's always been like good to us whenever we've been at shows, he's always been really helpful. Yeah. He's always been really helpful with our clients.
Gives us loads of
cookie dealers after.
Loads of cookie dealers. Every show it's like, Reese, Finn, cookie dealers, you want some? We're like, we'll take them. Then just gives us loads. He's sound. And to be fair, I like how it's run. The judging criteria is usually pretty legit. Like
their sound with Sanaya, aren't they?
Yeah, they're good with Sanaya. Like I think there was obviously some drama and controversy regarding FitX. Like a few months
I don't
back.
know enough about.
I don't really know enough. I don't really care enough. But I'm judging it not upon any drama that potentially has happened.
All of this is not in regards to any politics. This is literally just our opinion on shows that we've been to and our experience. Yeah.
However, to be fair, looking upon the photos, Guy, you're lucky to have won the overall.
Yeah, you were
Did
robbed.
you on hamstrings? I did you on condition. Like better
Absolutely
shape.
robbed.
Yeah, like you were just bigger than me, bro. So congrats, you take more gear. And if you weren't there, I would have won the overall because I would have won the bodybuilding class, which I fucking probably should have. So yeah, that's that. Cheers, Guy. Cheers, FitX. Fucking give it a miss. No, I like FitX. I'll definitely next time I compete, I'd like to compete with FitX. I like a year where I do like not really like just like good fun shows.
I'm 1 for 1 with FitX.
I'm 1 for 2, but 2 classes. 2 classes, 1 win.
It's not as good as 1 class, 1 win.
Yeah, you didn't get in the overall.
You were like,
no, you didn't get called out.
Yeah, because I was men's physique.
Yeah, but
if it was just a men's physique overall, I'd have won.
You probably, but the men's physique guys were pretty trash though.
No, he does well, that Shiraz.
Yeah, but he's natural as well.
Yeah.
Claims lifetime natural.
All right, come on, let's wrap this up.
That's that. Yeah, cool. There we go, guys.
We'll try and get Sam to more work for Sam to actually give us the tier list. Hopefully he's been able to. I'm going to send him this.
Yeah. Cool. There we go. Hopefully everyone's enjoyed. Hopefully everyone has enjoyed our breakdown. If you're looking to compete in the UK, look upon our tier list, maybe on screen now. It has been, and choose accordingly. Especially if you're Mr. Gay, if you're gay and you want to do Mr. Gay England. That's not a joke. That's that. Any suggestions for tier lists? Feel free to send them through. We're more than happy to do anything like breakdown. We've got a good list, but we thought we'd do this one to kind of get the ball rolling. So, yeah, hopefully everyone enjoyed. We shall leave it there. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.